From the first moment I saw a guy flying a DJI Phantom drone in January 2014, I knew this was going to be technology made for railfan photography. By the time I got the funds to buy my first drone, the Phantom 2 had been introduced. Thanks to Travis Taylor, I now have a photo of that rig in the air. And a rig it was. You bought the drone, then you had to buy the Zenmuse 2D camera gimbal, which had a cradle built for the GoPro Hero 3 camera. Then, if you wanted to actually see what you were shooting while you were shooting it, you needed a 5 GHz video transmitter receiver that sent a signal to a battery-powered monitor that you also had to buy and rig out. Early flights were fair. Flying these quadcopters is a lot easier than you might think, but you also need coordination, and I wasn't too steady. Trying to get this coal train southbound at Baldwin, Florida, I was unsure of how high and how far out I would go. I also didn't know the Phantom 2 had a Land Now feature when the battery was almost spent. Right in the weeds. No damage though. Then there was the time I had the bright idea of an aerial shot of a balloon release at a family birthday party. This isn't railfanning, but I thought I'd catch the whole thing from the air. But on these early models, there was a compass calibration procedure that was required before every flight. I forgot to do that, and the drone forgot where it was and flew away. I finally wrestled it around and coaxed it back over the house, and on the way down it lost lift but found my roof. Again, no damage. Then there were the episodes that happened not because of operator error, but because of equipment failure brought on by operator failure. I didn't know about lithium polymer batteries and how you really should discard them after they've suffered a serious impact, like a crash. But I pushed this one right to the end, and while trying to get an overhead shot of Baldwin Yard. Fortunately, the Phantom was smart enough to know its battery was bad and made a soft landing with the little juice it had left. Unfortunately, it wasn't smart enough to know it had landed right next to a dangerous 2-track main line. Those are 2-inch-high weeds right there. Getting the aircraft back required a stupid hike out into the middle of that track plant. Luckily, there were no trains or railroad police around. I haven't and won't do this again. By 2016, I'd replaced the Phantom 2 with the Phantom 3 Pro. Better flying system, better camera, better monitoring, and all that add-on stuff from the previous models was already built in. The aerial video was getting better too, but there was still the occasional operator error. This is Q442 at Plant City, but you're listening to Q652 at Vitus Junction. I'd forgotten to start my ground video camera, which I pull the good audio from to match with the drone video. This is the audio you get from the drone. There are always challenges to drone photography. This biggest one, as it's always been to all railfan photography, is cloud cover. A gloomy evening at Lacucci, Florida. Here is southbound Q441. The overcast evening light was fading, but I shot it anyway. We were almost at sunset here, which gave me just a few more minutes of legal flying time. I was there to see the last of the old Seaboard Coastline era signals, just before the new Siemens signals were put into service. I believe these were the last of the old lights left on the Florida S-Line. They were set to approach lit, as many on the Seaboard were. Return to dark when the train leaves the signal plant. When coal train NO20 entered the plant from the north, they lit up, reading an advance approach. 2 yellows indicates proceed, prepared to stop at the second signal ahead. The second signal ahead was north end Dade City siding, and it was apparently still red because the earlier Q441 was still in that block. The bags over the new signals are merely indicators too, telling the passing crew that those signals are out of service and not supposed to be lighted. After using one at drone pilot school in Atlanta this past winter, I purchased a DJI Mavic Pro. Smaller, infinitely easier to deploy, and newer navigation and GPS software. Plus, this bird has forward and downward obstacle avoidance. The video is about the same quality as the Phantom 3, but the Mavic Pro shoots 4K video, which is a bump up. There is still a learning curve, like knowing about the manual focusing mode, which I learned the hard way one Saturday morning over Wildwood Yard. You can't really tell, but that's Q452 down there, pulling in to work Wildwood Yard. Oh well. I was able to get the next train, Q442, northbound Tampa to Waycross daily freight, in focus. As you can see, drone railfanning can be challenging, but it offers great advantages that we railfans have been trying to get for years on bridges, hillsides, buildings, vehicles, and ladders. But being a good drone pilot takes practice, concentration, and responsibility. I'm still working on all 3. In Wildwood, Florida, this is Danny Harmon, out.